The 12 apostles were not legends, they were not myths. They were real men who lived, traveled, preached, and died for one central claim, that Jesus Christ rose from the dead. These men did not die for philosophy. They did not die for tradition. They died because they refused to deny what they had seen with their own eyes. Let's walk through how each of the 12 apostles died. Peter was bold, impulsive, and deeply flawed. He denied Jesus 3 times, but after the resurrection, Peter became unshakable. Years later in Rome, Peter was sentenced to death by crucifixion, but he made one final request. He asked to be crucified upside down. Peter said he was not worthy to die in the same manner as his Lord. History records that Peter was crucified upside down outside the city of Rome, never denying Christ again. Andrew, Peter's brother, preached the gospel far from Jerusalem. When he was captured, he was sentenced to die on an X-shaped cross. Instead of nails, he was bound with ropes so his death would be slower. For days, Andrew preached to the crowd while hanging on the cross. When his strength finally failed, he died praising Christ. Bartholomew's death is one of the most brutal in history. After spreading the gospel in Armenia, he was captured. He was flayed alive. Even under unimaginable pain, Bartholomew refused to deny Christ. He died as he lived, faithful. James, the great James, the brother of John, was one of the inner circle, present at the Transfiguration. He became the first apostle to be martyred. King Herod Agrippa ordered James to be beheaded by the sword. James died quickly, but not quietly. His execution marked the beginning of open persecution against the church. John the apostle. John was different. The authorities tried to kill him by boiling him alive in oil. He survived. Unable to silence him, they exiled John to the island of Patmos. There, John received the revelation of Jesus Christ, the final book of the Bible. John died of old age, the only apostle to escape execution, but not because they didn't try. Philip preached boldly in Asia Minor. When his message threatened the local religion, Philip was arrested. He was crucified, or possibly hung upside down, after refusing to stop preaching Christ. Philip died where he preached, on foreign soil far from Jerusalem. Matthew the apostle. Matthew was once a despised tax collector. Jesus called him anyway. Matthew preached in Ethiopia and Persia. According to early tradition, Matthew was killed by sword or spear while preaching the gospel. The man who once collected money for Rome gave his life for Christ, Thomas the apostle. Thomas is remembered for doubt, but history remembers his courage. Thomas traveled farther than any other apostle, reaching India. There he preached Christ openly. He was killed by being pierced with spears. The man who once said, "Unless I see, I will not believe," died declaring Jesus as Lord. James, the less James, the brother of Jesus, led the church in Jerusalem. Religious leaders demanded he deny Christ. Instead, James preached Jesus from the temple rooftop. They threw him down. When he survived the fall, they stoned him. And finally, they beat him to death. Religion killed him, but resurrection gave him hope. Thaddeus, also known as Jude, preached the gospel in Mesopotamia. He was beaten and clubbed to death by those who rejected his message. Even so, his final message remained unchanged: Jesus is Lord. Simon, the zealot. Simon was once a revolutionary, a zealot prepared to overthrow Rome by force. Jesus transformed him. Simon preached peace, truth, and salvation through Christ. Tradition says Simon was sawn in half. He died no longer a rebel, but a servant of the king. Matthias replaced Judas after the resurrection. He knew what he was signing up for. Matthias preached faithfully. He was stoned, then beheaded, chosen by the church but approved by God. Disciples versus apostles. This is where the difference matters. A disciple is a follower. An apostle is a sent witness. Many followed Jesus. Only a few were chosen to testify of his resurrection. Judas was a disciple, but he was never an apostle to the nations. Now enter a man who never walked with Jesus during his ministry, yet became one of the greatest apostles of all time. Paul the Apostle Paul did not follow Jesus in Galilee. He persecuted Christians. He hunted the church. He approved of executions. But on the road to Damascus, Paul met the risen Christ. Not a vision, not a dream, the living Jesus. Paul was transformed instantly. Jesus himself commissioned Paul as an apostle, not chosen by men but chosen by God. Paul became the apostle to the Gentiles. He suffered beatings, imprisonment, shipwrecks, stonings. Finally, in Rome, Paul was beheaded. As a Roman citizen, he was spared crucifixion. Paul died proclaiming the same truth as the 12, Jesus Christ is alive. Why this matters: the apostles did not die for belief. They died for testimony. They didn't say, "We think Jesus rose." They said, "We saw him." Judas shows us that proximity to truth doesn't save. Paul shows us that grace can reach anyone. And the apostles show us this: people will die for something they believe is true. But no one willingly dies for a lie they know is false. 12 apostles died without recanting. One betrayer died without repenting. One former enemy died proclaiming grace. The tomb was empty. And history has never been able to put Jesus back in it.